Thanks everyone for joining us today, and welcome to FPE Automation's webinar for getting your automation project off the ground with universal robots. There are many tools you can select when planning an automation project, but today we'd like to focus on collaborative robots from UR and what that process looks like in practical terms. My name is Justin Tanaka, and together with my colleague Kurt Vaeth, we are the Universal Robot Product Managers for FPE. In the first half of this video, I'm going to cover the following topics. What is a collaborative robot? Common pain points and business challenges that we can address, and the criteria that make a good first cobot application. In the second half, Kurt will cover how we at FPE can help, how to decide on in-house or integrator implementation, how to get the fastest ROI, and several online resources you might not be aware of. Universal robots might not need an introduction. They are by far the industry leader in collaborative robot sales worldwide, with over half the market and over 42,000 cobots deployed as of 2019. But what does it mean to be collaborative? There are 4 criteria we use to describe collaborative robots. Number 1, they're safe to work beside humans. This is thanks to state-of-the-art technology that provides inherent safety. We always like to say this is based on the application, however. If you attach a knife to the end of the robot, the application probably isn't that safe. In general, the cobot allows for enhanced safety without the need of external safety devices. Collaborative not only refers to the safety aspect, but the programming as well. That's where number 2 comes in. Cobots are easy to program. Industrial robots have been around for decades, so the programming environment hasn't changed much. Collaborative robots have a user interface that is easy enough for anyone to understand. Number 3, cobots are redeployable. Because they are safe and easy to program, the time it takes to reset for a different application is very manageable. And finally, number 4, a fast ROI. By the end of this presentation, it will be clear why cobots have the fastest payback at this scale of automation. In my section, I'll go over the advantages cobots have in keeping the overall costs down. So this is huge, and there's no people working in the cell at all. On the right, you see what cobots are achieving today. Smaller footprint, which means higher efficiency, and using the cobot as a tool to take the repetitive tasks out of the manual process. From a business standpoint, we have to look at costs, and that's where the difference can be less obvious. The initial cost of the industrial robot is similar to the cost of a cobot. The difference is what's below the surface. For an industrial robot, we have end-of-arm tooling, 3-phase power infrastructure, fencing and guarding, light curtains, safety scanners, software license, integration and programming, maintenance and repairs, the list can go on. Now for the cobot, we have end-of-arm tooling and training, and that's the goals, to get rid of all that unnecessary stuff. So beyond keeping the costs down, there are many related challenges that a cobot can solve. In a tough labor market like in the US, manufacturers can struggle to find engineers with automation skills and experience, and that can add even more to the implementation challenge and cost of the industrial robot. So I want to go over some of the challenges to automating. Let's take a closer look here. So in the world of manufacturing, everyone is facing increased competition and the need to improve margins. We know that. For smaller manufacturers, you may not have many processes automated. So you have high mix, low volume production. That might not be as cost effective for traditional automation, especially if you're not a robotics programmer. You might have limited space as well, so the need to keep a small footprint is somewhat mandatory. For larger manufacturers, even if you're highly automated, you're still stuck with many repetitive manual processes where a large industrial cell just doesn't make sense. And that can lead to high employee turnover as well as quality and consistency issues to just keep those manual. Now, of course, at any size, you need to maintain a safe working environment for your employees. You might have workers' comp claims due to poor ergonomics. And finally, we all know you need to do whatever you can to hire and retain employees while still staying competitive, and that's another place that universal robots can help. So with that in mind, I want to move into your business challenges. So according to a 2018 survey of a diverse group of manufacturers, these are the main challenges facing companies today. When it comes to attracting and retaining a quality workforce, what if you could automate the dangerous tasks and improve your workers' lives? When raw material costs are ever increasing, what if you could immediately improve quality and reduce scrap? And with constant rising healthcare and insurance costs, what if you could lower your total labor cost or increase production without increasing labor? We'll keep these in mind. So with a better idea of the motivations for deploying a cobot, let's get started on your application. A major benefit of working with UR is the vast experience in application examples. Literally, there's hundreds of videos of real-world cases online where some of the latecomer competition might only be able to show you some videos from a trade show booth. So popularity actually does have its benefits, and using existing application examples is one of them for UR. This slide shows an overview of the most common applications for UR. I want you to think about your processes. So here's some questions. Where do you have these operations? If you could streamline one of these applications with a cobot, where would it have the biggest financial impact? Where could you find a good balance then between the financial impact and simplicity that would guarantee you a quick win? Not only are these good questions to ask yourself, but it's even better to schedule a plant walkthrough with one of our experts so we at FPE can be an active partner in your automation growth. So you might have heard of the 3 Ds before, dull, dirty, dangerous. These are great rule of thumb when thinking about the right application. Dull refers to the repetitive tasks that require rote movement and no decision making whatsoever for someone to do it manually. There's so many benefits to automating a dull tasks. Humans, they can lose focus if it's not engaging their mind, right? So this can lead to quality issues in an unmotivated worker. In a human machine study conducted by MIT researchers at one BMW factory, it was shown that teams made of humans and robots collaborating efficiently can be as much as 85% more productive than teams made of either humans or robots alone. Dirty refers to the tasks where humans don't want to work. There's coolant, fumes, oil. These can make a job difficult for a human, but a properly protected robot will never complain. Finally, dangerous, that refers to all the health risks posed toward humans. This can be as obvious as placing a part into a press, pinch points, or it can be as subtle as shoulder pain and arthritis from repeated motions over time. Not only is protecting your workers the right thing to do, it can be a huge cost savings in healthcare premiums. This slide here, this is a concept I really want to focus on, keeping it simple. So one of the biggest project killers that we want to avoid is taking on too much at the start. So these are 2 scenarios here, and I want you to ask yourself which one you prefer. Option 1, a full assembly application. There's a big investment, a huge scope of work with many assembly steps, and months of designing, programming, and setup. Option number 2, loading a CNC machine. There's a smaller investment, few process steps, quickly designed, up and running within days, opportunity to duplicate, and a quick win. So if I'm planning my first cobot, I want the quick win. Everything my team learns in implementing the first one quickly will help on that next bigger project. And there's no hard rule for which applications will be the simplest, but there are usually some good places to start. Pick and place, machine tending, and gluing. You could add in palletizing and case packing, but it really just depends on your situation. You definitely want to refer to an application review by FPE. That's going to help a lot. So another thing to keep in mind from before, the robots can work right next to humans. So even if you only automate a portion of the task instead of undertaking the entire project, the sooner the robot is up and running, the sooner it starts to pay itself back. If you're planning on a partial automation, it can be tempting to want to deviate from your initial plan. This is something else I want to bring up. So you're starting to put things together. It could just do that one more thing. That's not going to be too much work. We call this scope creep, and it's easy for the project to run away from you, but you don't want that first implementation phase to drag on endlessly. You want to maximize your ROI, and that takes a good amount of discipline. So now that we have a better understanding of what a good first application looks like, I'd like to pass this off to Kurt so he can tell you about how FPE can specifically help you to take it to the next step. Go ahead, Kurt.
All right. Thanks, Justin, and thanks everybody for joining this webinar. As mentioned earlier, my name is Kurt Vaeth. I am the Universal Robots Product Specialist for FPE South. We are located in St. Louis, Missouri, and a few of the topics that I want to talk to you today about are, well, the first one is how can FPE Automation help you get off the ground running with your automation project? There's about 5 different key points that I want to talk through today, and the first one's going to be just our UR Core training facilities. We have 2 UR Core. They're certified by Universal Robots training facilities, and I'll discuss them a little bit. We can do proof of concepts in-house for your particular application. If it's something that you do want to see proved out, selecting the correct third-party equipment, end effectors, other slide kits, covers, sleeves that you may need for your robot, anything like that, and I'll kind of get into that. Online resources that are available to you that are free. and completing the project, whether it's in-house, help with one of our 12 certified systems integrator partners, and we'll kind of discuss how to decide which way to go on that end. So let's get into it. Here's a picture of both of our Universal Robots core training facilities. On the left there is the North office. That one can hold around 12 participants, and it's located in Elk Grove Village up in Chicago. And the one on the right is our FPE South office. That can hold about 8 participants. We offer these classes. Some are about every month in the North office, and in the South office we do about every 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere around there. If we have need for it, we will look at doing them every month, but currently 6 to 8 weeks is kind of what we're looking at. In these trainings, some of your key takeaways would be how to optimize a program, how to work with the safety functions that come on the robot, how to hook up some of your third-party peripheral equipment like the end effectors, may get a little bit into conveyors, and some of the online resources that are available to you, and how to use magic files and things like that that are part of the Universal Robots platform. All right. So Justin kind of mentioned this earlier when he was talking about keep it simple. He had mentioned UR Plus platform, and what this is it's more or less an ecosystem or an app store for Universal Robots. You can see here a number of different third-party equipment. You have slide kits, lift kits, feeders, dispensing systems, end effectors, and different things like that that are going to help you with getting up and running as quick as possible. Kind of the way I like to describe this is, like I mentioned, an app store. If you look at the smartphone, for instance, they have an app store that you can get on and you can download apps that are going to work with your specific operating system on your smartphone. Universal Robots took that and kind of put it over to the robotic industry. They make the robots. They let all these other third-party companies, I believe there's around 400 or so and around 190 plus different products that are available on the market today around the world. And they vet the hardware and the software to work. So it's really a plug-and-play type of system to get the end user up and running as quick as possible. Everything can be operated through the teach pendant, and you can program everything without having to use any kind of, it's all the software is there. Another thing that UR recently added was their application kits. These kits take a lot of what's in the UR Plus platform and put it together in a kit. As you can see on the top left, there's a dispensing kit that you can just purchase, and it'll come with the stand, the robot, the dispenser, everything you need to get up and running as quick as possible. Then you have the advanced palletizing kit for Pally. You have the SKF lift, the Pally software, vacuum gripper on the end that it'll come with. And then you'd have something like the VersaBelt in the bottom left, machine tinning kit. So there's a number of different kits that they've selected for their more popular applications. So e-learning. Universal Robots is the best in the industry at their e-learning online resources. They have an 87-minute course that will really get you up and running with Universal Robots, as far as how to hook up sensors, conveyors, how to get the robot to talk to each of these in your application. The basic is 87 minutes. There's a more advanced. There's a few different modules on there that are very interesting and very well done. Another company that does a really great job at e-learning is Robotique. Robotique has e-learning for all of their grippers, for their force co-pilot, for their finishing co-pilots, for their machine tinning co-pilots. There's a number of different resources that you can look at online, and we can help you and send you the links and get you this information so you can start learning right away. And it is all free of charge. So when you're looking at an automation project, a new automation project, there's a couple things you want to look at. Do I want to do this with integration as a turnkey project, or do I want to do this in-house? So as you can see, this is a checklist with a few different key points. It's not by any means written in stone. It's just something to help the end user get up and running and say, how do I want to do this? How do I want to go about this? So if you look on the left, integration. So if you want it turnkey, of course, you're going to go integration. You want the project just put in and hit more or less hit play, and it's going to start. If you don't have the in-house resources to do this, or bandwidth in general, which is an issue that a lot of our customers have. I shouldn't say issue, but it's a problem that a lot of our customers have. They don't have the bandwidth to dedicate to an automation project. You want to go integration. If you're not starting small scale, if you're not starting with the low-hanging fruit, if you're wanting to automate an entire line, and it's a very large-scale automation project that's going to require custom design, custom end effectors, any custom equipment is going to take more time. You're probably going to want to go integration. Fast deadlines, and if you need an outside perspective, a lot of times there's a status quo mentality in a facility to where working on projects, you've only done it this way, but there may be a better way out there, and that's where integration comes into play. In-house, if you have a limited budget, that's a very large reason to go in-house. If you do have the time and bandwidth to dedicate to projects, there are a lot of benefits to this. You have automation on staff, engineers on staff, and if you do have a failure or something that happens after your project is implemented, you have less downtime because you can call on them automation engineers. You can call on the people who designed the entire cell and have it up and running in no time. Now, not to say you can't do that with integration, because you can. It's just they aren't your in-house employees. They will come in and they will help you on the integration side get that up and running again, but it may not be 15 minutes after you call the person. Starting simple with low-hanging fruit. This is something that was mentioned earlier in the Start Simple. If you do this, more than likely you can do something in-house. And it can be automated with off-the-shelf products, like I had mentioned earlier, the UR Plus platform. Or if there's a box erector or something like that you're trying to do, you could do it with Universal Robots. But there's also off-the-shelf products that help with that. So just looking at that type of thing will help and get your automation project off the ground if you decide to do it in-house. So what this all leads to is getting quick wins. Quick wins are huge in automation. You do not want, and Justin mentioned earlier, scope creep. Stay away from that, because if you start small, keep it small. Keep it simple, and don't let scope creep take effect on your automation project, because chances are it'll sit in the corner and collect dust instead of getting up and running. You want to get these quick wins in order to move on to the next project. So if you do tackle these low-hanging fruit, it will yield these faster and more tangible results. And early to success, it not only builds on the momentum, but it'll convince skeptics that are in the facility, and it'll challenge the status quo that has been there forever. And it also allows for fast tangible results. Also results in collecting on your return as quick as possible, and that's always a benefit to a company is how quickly can I get return on my equipment. So speaking of return, what about the ROI? I think everybody can kind of get what Universal Robots is trying to do here with their UR Plus platform and their application kits. Get you up and running as quick as possible so you can start collecting on this return on investment as quick as possible. And we're here to help with that as well. Any questions you have along the way, we want you to start being able to collect on your investment quickly. Fast setup, flexible deployment, easy programming, and collaborative and safe. This is all part of getting a quick ROI. And a quick ROI, Universal Robots typically looks at around 10.5 months, so which is great. 10.5 months is kind of unheard of in the automation industry with an ROI. And you can see here on your average payback times, these are in months. So your CNC, your machine tinning, quality inspection, they're all around the 8 to 10 month mark. Well, the quality inspection is around 4. That's a quick turn. And then everything else, assembly is going to be probably one of your longer ones, closer to 14 months. But everything else is between that 10 and 14 month time frame. And if you look here, we have actually one of the fastest paybacks recorded. And I like to mention this because the Task Force Tips case study that's on the Universal Robots website it's very interesting and it's very well done. And just see how they did it. And really try to replicate what they have done to get this fast payback. All right, so why FPE Automation? Currently, we are the top 5 distributor in North America for Universal Robots. Over 350 of these deployed since, I believe, 2014, 2015 timeframe when we picked up the line. 8 collaborative robots, application engineers, application specialists. I had mentioned earlier, 12 plus Universal Robot integration partners for any of your full turnkey solutions. Over 20 plus UR certified vendors. So that UR plus platform that you saw, we have 20 plus and growing partners that we work with on that end to support and help you with any of the third-party equipment that you might select for your project. And then our certified Midwest Universal Robots training centers in both Chicago and St. Louis. We are ready to help you. We are ready to go. We want to see you succeed, and we want to be partners with the end users. We want to. It doesn't do us any good to sell a robot and see it sit on the shelf. We want to do everything we can to work with you and to support however possible. Thank you again for joining the webinar today. We are going to now open it for any questions that you might have. Thank you. FPE Automation help you get off the ground running.